Hello and welcome to my list of the most badass martial art mentors of all time. These are all fictional from mainstream cinema and media. Hopefully you enjoy my list and tell me if you agree or disagree with my decisions. So I'll be moving through a list that includes Mr. Miyagi, Pai Mei, Mu Bai, Mickey Goldmill, Zhang Chao and Senzo Tanaka. And let's have a look at what I've ordered them in or rated them for. Fighting skill, can they actually do the stuff? Teaching skill, can they actually convey that knowledge? And thirdly, that magic X factor that makes an amazing, holistic, disruptive and phenomenal mentor, that unspoken thing. So, coming at the bottom of my list is Pai Mei from the Kill Bill series. Now, Pai Mei teaches white eyebrow kung fu and eagle claw kung fu and is your classic, reclusive and somewhat bitter martial arts sifu. Kind of squirreled themselves away in a mountaintop temple or mountaintop retreat, training people very, very, very selectively and very reluctantly. Not that those are two bad things. A selective and reluctant sifu sensei is all part of Asian folklore and martial folklore. People historically should have expected to be denied several times to see if they really, really, really want to learn the stuff. And Pai Mei's methods are brutalistic to the extreme, but they have purpose in that he is aiming to break your ego, break your mindset. If you come to him with skills, he doesn't give a fuck about those skills. He's going to remake you. He doesn't care about your karate or your kempo or your tiger claw or your Japanese swordsmanship. He's going to do it his way, and he's going to prove his superiority to you physically and in his language. And that's obviously not something we expect or appreciate today, but historically this is a relative fact of life. So Pai Mei's methods are hard and brutal, but if you let go of your ego, if you study and train very hard, then he will come to like might be a strong word, he'll come to respect and tolerate you. That's where the emotional level you're going to get with Pai Mei is. He's got phenomenal beard game. He's got phenomenal presence. So he's got a lot of X factor. He's got a lot of fighting skill. He's hugely dominant. His teaching skills, however, brutalistic. There's not much instruction. It's about attribute building. Can you take it? Can you take it? And once he knows you can take it, he might then instruct you on how to give it. But Pai Mei coming up number 6 for horrendous teaching but marvelous fighting. Senzo Tanaka from Bloodsport series. He teaches ninjutsu, and he teaches it to the young Frank Dukes in the series. Senzo Tanaka brings on young Frank Dukes as essentially I wouldn't say sparring partner, punch bag for his young son. So his young son needs someone to practice on in his art of ninjutsu, and Frank Dukes is about the same age, right size, and just about dumb enough. But Senzo Tanaka's teachings, as soon as it becomes clear that Frank Dukes wants to learn, not just be a punch bag, and there is the tragic loss of the son in there, he takes on this training regimen. Because it's a Jean-Claude Van Damme film, there's lots of being stretched with ropes. Must be something built in his psyche there. He gets attacked while being blindfolded, so his senses, a lot of it's about being aware that you're going to be struck, judging someone's intentions, which is again a big thing in kind of historical and movie ninjutsu. And you also see lots of toughening regimes, and again this is quite ubiquitous across several Japanese arts, of him being struck with sticks and shinai to make him tougher whilst he's doing these horrendous stretches and horrendous sequences. There's not much of him training. Again, it's a lot of attribute development, but unlike Pai Mei, there's also a little bit of mental attribute development too. Catching the fish from the water, catching the hand before it strikes you at the tea party, all of these things, and his famous technique being the dimmak, the death touch. Also remiss of me to say that what Pai Mei does teach selectively is the 5-finger exploding heart technique. So again, he's got his own little magic sequence too. Senzo Tanaka has the dimmak, and everyone knows about him in the fictional world of Bloodsport. So again, Senzo Tanaka, his fighting methodologies, we don't really see him fight, but he has been heard of everywhere, like a John Wick. So you never know. His teaching ability, whilst good when he starts teaching it, his rationale, what started him teaching Frank Dux in the series, is a little less ethical, a little less moral. You know, you are here as a hired punchbag for my favourite son. So I can't really rate him highly on teaching. His X Factor is pretty good. You know, he comes across stern, Japanese ninjutsu instructor, but gets warmer towards him throughout the film. But I would say he still doesn't have that magic teacher vibe. He's not an unforgettable character. I had to Google to be reminded of his name, so that's why he's in 5th position. Mu Bai, the golden good egg of all martial arts films, famous Wudang swordsman. Now for him as an instructor, he's got a little bit of a difficult task because he's training someone that doesn't want to be taught. The other two want to be taught. Mu Bai's charge does not want any of it, and Mu Bai is trying to show the righteous way, the kind of the wuxia, the knightly way, the courteous way, you know, and that is a tough ask indeed. Now Mu Bai spends a lot of the film having to fight when he doesn't really want to fight. He's trying to instruct. You know, there are a big fight sequence where his sword is still in his scabbard. He wants to speak to you, connect with you, engage with you, to let you know there's more to you than violence and revenge. So Mu Bai is a very good example of teaching by example. He puts himself out there. He tries to engage with you emotionally, but he is also a bona fide badass, and everybody knows it. His fighting skills up here. You know, his teaching skills are even higher because he has the empathy, the understanding, the kindness there. And that really does matter. And it's about more than just the technology as well. It's not about the magic sword. It's about your own chivalry, your own morals and ethics. And that's what makes Mu Bai really great as an instructor, but also that blinds him to the treachery and the evil out in the world, and that's ultimately his demise. So whilst amazing ethically, fantastic in a fighting sense, you know, that X factor, what might lose him that is his inability to actually see some of the truer nature of people. Maybe he's too forgiving, maybe he's too hopeful, too optimistic for the better side of human nature. But there we go, Mu Bai. Third, Zhang Chao. Zhang Chao from the Kickboxer series. So in the Kickboxer series, Jean-Claude Van Damme's brother Eric gets absolutely mullered by Tong Po, and he wants revenge, and none of the other Muay Thai crew are going to even give him a chance. Zhang Chao, again in that traditional Asian martial arts model, was like, no, I don't want to teach you. No, I don't want to teach you. I am a recluse, not interested. And it's only by persistence that he agrees. And Zhang Chao's got some interesting teaching and training methodologies. Again, it's about breaking you before making you, and you see that as a common theme. So you've got Jean-Claude Van Damme coming, already knowing some kind of Western kickboxing skills, but Zhang Chao rapidly shows that those aren't nearly good enough to fight Tong Po. And again, he tries to make him quit. Kick that tree until your shins bleed. I'm going to drop this coconut on your stomach from a ridiculous height. I'm going to stretch you, bend you, use ropes, do all these things. Yep. But those things manage to break and remake the character of the film. And then it moves on to more esoteric things like taking you to an ancient temple where warriors trained and getting you to dodge and parry and spar whilst you're holding two molten metal rods. Again, that's very cinematic but also very emotive, and that's why he's near the top of the list, because he took him out of the normal training environments and put him in a world where he's connecting spiritually with what's going on. He feels a connection to Thailand and its warriors and its warrior ethos. Also, he's got good X factor. It's cheeky. Takes him to a bar, gets him blind drunk, tells all the young men in the bar that he's been talking shit. Chaos ensues with much dancing and much splits and jazz. But again, you're showing different ways. Can you handle aggression? Can you work when you're drunk? Can you function when you're less than optimal? All of these things really do matter. So Zhang Chao's methods are unorthodox. You don't really see a huge amount of Thai boxing in the Kickboxer film, but what you do see is a kind of break and remake, which is pretty standard, but also connecting spiritually with the temple scenes, and also holistically showing him teaching Tai Chi and work underwater and all of these things, and also making him part of the family too. So again, this is a great model for how the instructor is looking after the human and the fighting needs of his child. So that's what gets Jan at number 3 on the list. Number 2 on the list, and how could I not, Mickey Goldmill. Mighty Mick, absolute banger of a fictional martial arts coach. What makes him great? Well, his fighting skill, he's done it. You know, he talks about him becoming champion the same night as Jack Dempsey, and that would have made him more famous, he have a better manager, but he's been there, he's been in the trenches, he's done the do. A lot of the others in the list, you don't really see them do the do. Yeah. So Mickey's absolutely got it. He's old school. He's going to have you chasing chickens for speed. He's going to have you pulling him on a bike. He's going to connect to you. He's going to say, you know, you can't fight Apollo Creed. You can't be faster than him. You're never going to jab better than him, but you can break his ribs and stop him breathing. So he knows his fighter. You know, he's got under the skin of what makes Rocky Rocky and what will make Rocky great. And that's a great sign of a martial arts instructor. He can look at you and make you the best version of you. And that's where Mickey really comes in. He's also got a lot of love and empathy for you. You know, get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you. You know, that would have been such a hard thing for a Mickey of the world to say. But he knows what needs to be said at what time. He is gritty and raw, and sometimes those characters butt against each other. But he's all about, you're going to have to put in the cardio work. You're going to have to stop being on camera. You're going to have to stop doing press and media. You're going to have to stop your little love interest story for a little bit. You need to focus on the graft and the craft and the grind and not lose what makes you a tough son of a bitch. And so Mickey's all about being a tough son of a bitch, getting it done. Yeah. So Mickey, phenomenal, moving, marvelous character. You know, fighting skill, top tier. Teaching skill, brilliant, because it is varied. Chase the chickens, run the bike, do all these things, as well as your normal calisthenics, sparring, you know, mindset work. It's all there. And the X factor's there, the love, the passion, the grit. So that's why Mickey scores very highly indeed. But at the top of the list, of course, is Mr. Miyagi, the man who puts all others to shame when it comes to this stuff. Old Mr. Miyagi. Why is he at the top of the list? Well, there's a reason why it's called Miyagi Syndrome, isn't it? Because he can do everything. Your leg's broken, magic shiatsu. Feeling sad, he's got the right kind of tea to heal and perk you back up again. Yeah. Again, he's in the ethos of the reluctant teacher. No, 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 no. Yes, that is a trope. That's a follow-through trope. Menial skills to build strength. Wax on, wax off. Sand the floor. Paint the fence. Yeah. Tests Danielson's spirit and builds his body, because he needs his body ready for what his mind asks of it. So before he can even begin to learn fighty stuff, he needs his body and his mind in the right place. You see Mr. Miyagi when it comes to fighting skills. He fights people with weapons in Okinawa. He fights the young fight team of Cobra Kai, John Kreese. He is a badass. So you see him deploy skills even as an elderly gentleman, as well as being able to instruct physically in a variety of different ways. Balance on the boat, yeah, how to breathe, how to focus. So he's kind of 360 character of healing, empathy, understanding, calisthenics, martial skills, social skills. You know, make sure you go out on that date. Make sure you remember it's your mum's birthday. Make sure you focus on these things. You know, make sure you understand whilst trophies are good, honor and being alive are better, and being a good person is more important than all of that. So Mr. Miyagi brings all those facets together in a really phenomenal way. You know, everyone wants a Mr. Miyagi because holistically covers all the things we would love a sensei, a sifu, a mentor, a coach to be able to do for us. It's also awful for us martial arts instructors because we can't really be all of those things. Those things are, it's hard enough being one of them and being good at that, let alone all of them. But still, when it comes to this fictional top 10, top 6 list, Mr. Miyagi's got to be at the top because he can do the do. He can teach with aplomb in a variety of different ways, and his X factor is marvelous. He is a good, amazing human being. Everyone wants in their life a proud Miyagi look. I know I certainly do. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Was that fair? Was it not? Let me know. Let me know how you would reorder those, and if you were to add any more contenders, what would those contenders be?